All right, guys. Good morning. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Let's get started. How do you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound good, man.
All right. Excellent, Norm. Good morning. All right. So it looks
Good
like
morning.
I might have. All right. Just 1 second, guys. Got to get something done here. All right, guys. I'm back. Okay. Good. So good morning, guys. Welcome. Let's get started. So we had a pretty interesting day yesterday. A nice, decent watch list. We'll go over some of the moves we had here, and then we'll go over in our watch list today. I see today we have quite a bit on here. We got BYND, Snap, we got BIIB, and we have Philly, PHI. That's the thing for Philadelphia Airport, I think. So we'll go into those and see what's going on there. Then we look at our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainer, see what's happening there. And yesterday we had a great class yesterday, class 1 and 2. And today we'll have some more classes. So if you joined us yesterday, today we're kind of going to go over the examples we were talking about yesterday, how to find these stocks in play. So later on in the morning, we'll start going through this list and we'll go over some examples, just kind of showing you guys the same thing we do every morning. So let's look at some stocks in play of some of the stuff I had on my watch list. And our watch list, Norm, a lot of us, Brian, we all almost had the same exact watch list. Not much change from what we were watching. Let's start over with MU. So MU at the open again, just not as clean, guys. Again, tends to be very choppy. The 1 minute looks great though, right? But if you're trading off the 5, right, this 1 minute, if you were able to catch the bottom, you can see a clear pop here. Goes into a nice little flow here, bounces from here and then heads higher. But on the 5, it's not as clean. You get all this volume right at the open. You have this beautiful drop here that comes back up. When I see this, I tend to want to go long after seeing something like this. I become long bias in this type of move, especially right before the open. You can see sellers try to push this down. They couldn't. Comes right back up. So here at the open of this candle, you can see a beautiful pop. If you were able to get in here based on the previous candle, you had a good opportunity, a good entry. Waiting for the 5-minute open range break up here would have cost you, because then you can see here you don't get a real pullback. You just kind of get a pop after the next candle opens and then sells right back down below the VWAP. And then once this happens and you don't get a continuation of a sell-off, you're best off just waiting to see what's going to be the next move. Right, just give it a few minutes to see what happens. And as we talked about, 30 to an hour in, as you can see, this is 30 minutes here, hour into the market. It settles down, right? Pretty choppy in this area, but then it settles down and then it goes into a beautiful trend trade, which we've seen quite often from AMU and AMD. So here's AMD. AMD had a much cleaner open. On the 1, you can see holding all these support levels. If you can't get in before the 5-minute, if that's not one of your rules, you can get in at the 4 or the 3-minute mark. Beautiful entry here with all the moving averages and support levels behind you. So under you. So clearly here, a nice pattern, heads up, breaks the high of the day, and you can see continues up nicely. Gives you a beautiful pullback here. So if you miss this move, you get a nice pullback on the 1 minute. You can see this here also on the 5, this beautiful pullback. And that could have been an amazing entry for the next leg up. Heading towards the high of the day, breaking in, hitting a little higher. From there, it sells down, right back down towards the VWAP and the moving averages. This area is a little tricky here because, again, once you start seeing these red candles and it goes below VWAP, it looks great for a short. So I'm sure a lot of traders, hopefully not too many, got caught in this possible short for a false VWAP breakdown. But you can see fine support in this moving average, then heads higher again. So this is a tough area in this situation to get in, but I did see some traders where they went back long after it came back above VWAP. So this was nice. Hits the high of the day and makes it even a new high here, close to our highs and lows of the previous 2 days, right? So that's a very nice pop there. Next we have PETS. I was watching this one very closely, guys. Very choppy, and then the volume just dies down. So you can see here you get one big pop at the open. You get a little bit opens up here. You get a little bit continuation, but then sells down, and then from here on, it was really not tradable after that, guys. Just kind of became very choppy, no volume. Out of nowhere, you get this pop with not a lot of volume. So not really significant. Nothing you can plan for here. Nothing that has a strategy to be able to trade. So this turned out to be a very crappy action. Sprint. This is one of the stocks that, again, it doesn't move much. Yesterday, right before the open, it had a lot of volume coming into the open. It had this beautiful drop right before the pre-market open, a few minutes before it, actually exactly 1 minute before. You can see here in the 1 minute chart, there's a nice drop with not a lot of volume. Then it finds a bottom right in here. I'm not sure which level this is. This must have been not the low of the pre-market, but you clearly have some kind of support that was happening here at the pre-market. Bounces from there, then slowly just grinds higher all the way to 730. Then from there, it just became pure crap. Nothing happens after that besides this drop here around 1245 or so. But then really, if you didn't catch this move right at the bottom here, it was really not tradable. And again, it's one of these stocks that doesn't move well and doesn't move a lot neither. I mean, we're going from 720 712 here to 726 and then 730. So again, not a real big move for a 30-minute time frame there. LK was one of we were watching also. What we liked on this one, I believe, was the daily, right? Yeah, the daily look, it was going to break out. And look at this, guys. It did break out. We were talking about this, Norm, yesterday, right? We mentioned how clean this daily chart was setting up, right? Kind of coming right into a point, and it did just that, right? It sold off a bit at the open first, but then it found its way. Say it again?
Yep. Broke out from the wedge.
Yeah, it broke out nicely here and gave you a beautiful pop. You did have to be patient, though. If you go back into the action for yesterday, again, it took some time to get this going. It took almost all morning, right? So the morning time frame, you got some sell-off here. Found the support at this moving average, and we talked a little bit about that yesterday in the class as well. Nice support there, hits it twice. Again, these are an area. Finally settles in, gets above the moving average, and then the volume. Look at the volume. Everybody waiting for this to happen. Volume comes in, and you get this beautiful pop all the way to 2177. So kind of we were expecting that. We were expecting that for hopefully to happen a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, it didn't. A lot of us probably are done trading by a certain time here. Probably missed out on this move. HAL was one that traded very, very nice. Gave you a lot of opportunities on here. So off the top, off the open, right, takes off, gives you a good pullback for open range breakup. Heads higher, opens up here, hits this 2365, and these are big moves, guys. Again, don't get fooled by how small the candles look. If you're looking at this, this is 2288, and this is 2365, right? We're talking almost about $1 move on a stock that's trading at 22 bucks. That is very good. So then from here, it gets choppy within this area, gives you a beautiful drop, finds this 2288. So if you have an entry here and you have some partials, you probably could have survived this pullback. Again, finds this level right on the money, and then it takes off again towards the high of the day, and then finds this moving averages and heads even higher to 2365. So again, traded very well. Again, these are very big moves, almost $1 move on this first pop at the open. Then we had a Marble as a possible, but it didn't really trade that clean. You did have a good opening range breakup here, but after that, the volume just didn't seem great on it. So, and it was very difficult to trade. It wasn't trading as clean as HAL was. HAL had a nicer, cleaner action at the open. So that was our stocks for yesterday, guys. Let's look at let's get into some news. Let's see what the SPY is doing this morning, and what do we have planned for today, what's happening, and throughout the week.
Yeah, Carlos, SPY is actually gapping up a little bit more than it has the last few days. Maybe we have a little bit of hope that it'll actually move today, because it was pretty slow going yesterday for the most part. Not a whole lot in the way of economic data. This morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, existing home sales report will come out. There's a little bit more data tomorrow and Thursday, but really not a big week on that front. The real news for the week are earnings, huge chunk of earnings coming out this week with, I think I've got notes here if you give me just a second.
Yeah, go for it.
I think there's 96 companies reporting today, almost 200 tomorrow, more than 200 Thursday, and 100 on Friday. So that should give us some moves. We should see some as earnings continue to be released this morning, and quarterly calls take place. My guess is we'll see some growth in our gappers list this morning, which even just in the last few minutes has almost doubled. So, we'll get a little. We should get some good stuff today. 3 of the 4 FANG stocks are reporting this week, so next few days should be decent trading, hopefully.
Yeah, but looking forward to that. We definitely use some of that volatility and movement out of the earnings season. So, excellent, guys. Let's get into what we have here on our gappers list on trade ideas. So we'll go over some of the stocks that are on here. We're also going to look at KO. Someone mentioned KO in our chat room earlier today, and so we'll start with that one. This is one that is slightly below 50 cents on the average true range, which is one criteria we have here. It has to be above 50 cents. So if you look at KO, it's just right at 48 cents. So we'll throw that on here. It's worth taking a look at it. This morning, KO is trading so far 360,000 shares traded. We have looked at this one in the past. It's a stock that doesn't trade very well on a normal basis, but when it is in play, you can get several pops out of it. But again, overall, the dailies you can see here, it's not great. Some of these candles don't look too clean on the daily, but today looks like there's definitely some activity going on. It is up 3.3 on Coca-Cola here, so we got some activity happening. You can see the pre-market action is not looking too great neither. Again, it's just kind of choppy. You do have some volume, but this is normal for this type of stock. We've seen this before, and also it is a nicey stock, so they tend to not have the best, cleanest pre-market action. What's going on with Coca-Cola today, Norm? What do we have on it?
Well, they released earnings this morning, and like you were saying, so Coke is part of the 30 companies that make up the Dow Industrial Index that's reported on the news all the time. And it's not always the case. You've got some things in there like Apple that actually do move, but many of them, the older companies that have been in there for a long time, they're as far as day trading, really aren't anything that are super impressive for moves that they make. Very rare that Coke really makes moves that are tradable in an intraday kind of perspective.
Yeah, I agree. There's got to be some serious news or volume moving this thing. And again, guys, look at the flow, right? Usually when you have this huge flow, they don't move as much. It's 4.24 billion shares flow. So again, it just kind of shows you how massive this stock is. So we'll keep an eye on it today. It is gapping up 3.4. We'll see what kind of activity we can get out of it. The daily what I like about the daily here, although they got some nasty candles, that you do have an area here where it's been kind of just chopping around here. So now we have this nice breakout based on some earnings, so we can see how that plays out later on today. So KPTI is next in our gappers list. This one is up 7.1, 104,000 shares traded so far. Looks like we traded this one in the past. Let's remove these levels here. So right now daily looks interesting. You got this beautiful daily candle here a couple of weeks ago. Another red one here selling down. It seems to have found support at this moving average, and now we're popping up quite a bit here. Volume is a little bit light, guys, only 104, so it's just barely cracking the criteria here are that we recommend, over 100,000 shares traded. And then the pre-market action, just look how nasty this looks right now. So again, not really a fan of this pre-market action, and though the volume is above 100,000, is barely creating any type of good pre-market activity. We'll come back to it. I do like that it's gapping up 7.1. It is not a low flow stock, so it is a lower price stock, right? But it is a 57 million shares flow, so it is tradable. You can manage your risk on this, and we've seen some days where it does have some volume that you can get a nice little pop on this. So next on the list is our friend BYND, Beyond the Meat.
Beyond the Meat.
There you go. Wow. Up 5% this morning, 288,000 shares traded so far. Had a nice big day yesterday. You can see here, we talked about this as well, how it's kind of just winding up higher and higher, having this real nice uptrend here. It's kind of forming I'm not sure if this is a wedge or a triangle. There's several ways to call it. Nor you probably know best on what exactly this is here, right? But it's kind of got like a wedge going on here, right?
It's kind of an ascending wedge, and it's broken out from it yesterday. Mm-hmm. That's the technical is what popped that, it looks like to me.
Yeah, so there's a nice pop here based on these technicals, a nice wedge forming here. It goes right to the all-time high, which is sitting right on here. and today we're breaking out of that, making new highs. High of 204, which should be the all-time high on this recent IPO, guys. This stuff just opened up in June, right? June of this year. So it's just crazy. We opened up around 45 bucks, whatever the case may be. Yeah, 45 to be exact, 46, and now trading at 204. So what a heck of a ride this thing is having. The issue I have with this one we'll watch today is definitely in play, and actually it has a very nice pre-market action. Look at this pre-market action it has right now. Very clean with some good volume. The issue I have with this one is that it tends to move like a low flow sometimes. The ATR, it's at $7.23, so that has gone down a lot. This thing was trading before around 25, 21 on the ATR, so it has dropped down a lot based on the last 14 days, because that's what we're calculating based on these 14 days not moving much. That has dropped a lot. But again, you want to be very careful in trading this stock, as it can move very wild. Snap is on here. Snap is up 3.1, 537,000 shares traded, so quite a bit of shares here. The issue with Snap is it doesn't move much, right? So we've seen this before. Look at this daily chart here, where it's not a lot of action, not a lot of activity going on. So that's my issue with Snap, that it tends to trade very nasty, even with volume, right? You have all this volume here, and you're probably going to get more at the open, but it doesn't trade very well. There was a day last week or the week before where Andrew caught a real nice pop on it, but again, you have to trade as a scalp, because you're not going to get 30, 40 cents out of this thing off the bat. Could happen, but the likelihood is that that's not the case. So we'll come back to it. Right now, horrible pre-market action, a lot of volume sitting on this one candle here, but this is typical for Snap. We've seen this stock quite often pop into our scanners with not a good pre-market activity. PHI, wow, this is a horrible pre-market action. What's going on with this one here? Actually,
it's two block trades, and that's all that's happened with it. So it's not really in play whatsoever.
I see that. So it's exactly 2 block trades here, totaling up to exactly 100,000 shares. So again, not in play, guy. We're going to take this out of the way here. Okay, let's go over Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainer, CHMA on top of both columns here. So let's see what's going on with this one. Right now, traded 1.7 million shares so far. Let's check the flow just to make sure what we're dealing with here. 24 million shares flow, so it's not it's on the low flow side, but not small cap, but it's not a low flow. It's not under that 20, 15 range. You still have to be careful with this, but again, they tend not to move as bad as those that are 5, 10 million shares flow. So at the moment, it is up 20%. It's got a nice little pop here with some really good volume. Daily chart looks clean. There's a difference between a stock that's a 10 or a 5 million shares flow. This one actually has some daily candles here that look actually pretty good. So the daily chart looks great here. Going back, you have a nice flow to it on this on the overall daily on this chart, opposed to one of these low flows where it sits around $2 for months and weeks on end, and then out of nowhere you get this pop where it goes up to $2.50, whatever the case may be. So this is a little bit different. Could be tradable. Definitely worth watching it today. It does have 1.7 million shares traded, so that's quite a bit in the pre-market action right now. Starting to get a nice little flow to it. Not as clean as we would like, but this is worth watching this morning. So we'll put it on here. I will put this down under my riskier pile just because it has a lot of shares being traded as well. It's a smaller cap, right? It's 24, which it is tradable for me. I try to stick with anything above 20 on here, 25. But it is a lower price stock, so we have to be extra careful on the number of shares we take on this one. Next, we have VIBE. This one here, penny stock. We'll skip this one. VISL. We know this is a penny stock as well. We saw this before. Yeah, I knew we saw this before over here when it opened up around $7. But most of the action, if you go back into this intraday, happened at the pre-market, right? And then from there popped up a bit and then straight back down to $4 and then sold off the following day. So not one that looks pretty attractive, although it has 1.5 million shares traded. Not something that I will be recommending any of you guys to watch to trade this morning. TRNX penny stock, ADXS penny stock as well. We'll skip this one. MRNS. This is one that's also a penny stock. We looked at this one before in the past, but it's kind of getting to a territory. Wow, it's got a nice little drop here. What's the float on this one? It's a 52 million shares float. No, this is not a penny stock. My mistake. So this is a regular stock. But again, what's the drop on this, Norm? This thing is going from $4 down to 136. Let's see
I
here.
haven't seen anything yet, but if you give me a moment.
Yeah, no worries. So going back here, looks like this thing's been consolidating between $5 and $3 over the last couple of days. It does look interesting.
Looks like
Go ahead.
It looks like they had some unimpressive trials that they announced data on. So
yeah, so again, guys, looks interesting on the daily. Beautiful drop, very attractive, 65% down with some volume. But once you start looking into the details here, look at this pre-market activity, right? This is horrible pre-market activity. So don't be fooled. Yes, it's 52 million shares flow, so it is tradable. It does hit our criteria. Yes, it has volume. Yes, it's down quite a bit. But just this here is concerning on a stock that's trading this at $1.35. You don't want to be caught on the wrong side because a lot of movement can happen here. It's going to be very difficult to manage your risk on this type of stock. So I'm going to stay away from that. NTEC penny stock. Wow, this thing dropped. This one that dropped yesterday too. And we said it probably was not going to trade well. So just for the heck of it, let's see what it did yesterday. Let's go back here. So yesterday was the 22nd. Yeah, so we looked at this pre-market action. We didn't like it. Yeah, see this guy just didn't trade well. Has a drop here. Not much happening. And you really don't want to trade anything under $1. Under $5 is usually my my cutoff point, right? It's gotta look really good once you start getting lower than $5. It's gotta be something out of this world. But $5 is, I usually try not to trade anything under that because our strategies really work best with stuff that's above $10, $20. It's that nice sweet spot. NAKD penny stock, we'll skip that one. SLS, also one that always pops up into our scanners, also a penny stock. And BYND is the final one on this list, which we have here making new highs of 204.87, the high of all time at the moment. In the next column, we have CHMA, which we have already. DFFN. This is one that we've seen this one before. It doesn't trade very well, guys. It's popping up a bit, not much volume. It is up 18%. But if you look at the intraday, you're going to see that it trades horrible. So don't be fooled by this one. XSPA, also nothing happening here, no volume. ISEE is not much going on here. Cool, KOOL, no volume. VISL, we looked at this one before. Don't be fooled by the volume, guys. Look at the history of this stock. Doesn't trade very well, so just stay away from it. AVCO is one that we also had on our list before. Yeah, going back over here in January, we had this crazy pop going from $5 all the way up to 13. I do remember that. That was insane. Today doesn't really have much volume at the moment. Let's get back to our, here we go. So not much volume at the moment, and pre-market action really non-existent. We talked about this last night in our class. What happened to, there we go. We talked about this last night in our class. Didn't really trade clean at all. We talked about it, how this looks like a bad pre-market action. So again, most likely will not be trading clean at all. So next we have INFN, also horrible pre-market action, nothing going on there. KPTI we have here, still not looking great, starting to pick up some volume, but this pre-market activity is looking pretty crappy. And the last one here, ONCY, also no activity, not looking great. All right, folks, so that is what we have. Let's take a look. Norm, what do you have going on your end between your top four or anything else you like this morning?
NVIDIA's breaking out from that 200-day and that consolidation range, so I'll have my eye on that for the daily. Apple had a big move yesterday, broken out from consolidation and recent highs. Roku's not doing much this morning, but it's been fairly tradable the last few days. And then Facebook is kind of in a similar case where it looks like it might try to break out from consolidation. Of those, I'd say probably NVIDIA would be my number one to keep an eye on, and then probably a tie for two between Apple and Roku. So that's what I've got there. I don't have a whole lot other than those and what we've already discussed. So I'll be looking at those and keeping my eye on the scanners.
Excellent. Yeah, I do like NVIDIA, again, just kind of slowly creeping up to this next area of resistance right up here around slightly under 175. And again, it's got some room here if it can get above that. So been trading very nice. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have on your end. What do you guys like this morning? So let's start over here. CHMA we have. That one is all the way down here. It's not a low flow, but I do have it on my risky pile, just because I got to watch how many shares we take on that. Let's look at RLGY. RLGY, what we have going on here. It's got some volume, definitely trading with some big volume here. 5.1 million shares traded so far. What is the float on this one? We're looking at 111 million shares flow, so it's not a low flow, although it's trading like one. This doesn't look clean for a stock that's trading at 111 million shares flow. So you want to see
Looks ugly.
Yeah, it looks very yeah, it does. Looks very, very ugly. Again, just not trading very clean. What do we have here? Just want to look at the daily, see what we got going on the daily. Also, the daily's not clean either. You know, you have a nice little downtrend here. But again, just something about this stock that you want to be careful. If I can't pinpoint it, it's just the patterns look funky as well. So you want to be extra careful. So far this morning, it already has hit $8 and it's down to 6 based on these crazy wicks that you have here. So be careful. Do not be tempted to trade in the pre-market. Wait for the open to see what we can get out of this. Any news on this one, Norm, this morning that's causing this type of activity, or is something just regular?
I have not looked specifically for this one. I can't even find any info on this stock. So
I just checked Benzinga. There's nothing on there near. So even be more cautious with this one, guys. Next we have LOGY. I'm sorry, excuse me. All right, Logitech. All right, so this is clearly a foreign company. You can see on here, you got you know, the daily just chopping all over the place. It is up nice, 5.7, but the volume is not there. You're only 46,000 shares traded. Even though with this nasty daily chart, you do have some levels you can find here. Clearly, the price action is sitting right on this level here from this date over here, and you have another one down here, which looks like to be also the low of the pre-market. So again, it's interesting to see the pop up here. It does look like it wants to head higher. Obviously, that's a huge pop. Not sure if this is all-time high or not. No, it's not. We got some higher levels here. Very well-known company, but the daily chart is just horrible. And again, just not a lot of volume. So this is one that I will wait for it to hit on our scanners. Just not really liking the way this activity is looking here at the moment. Next, let's see what we got going on. Okay, so we have AVGO, we have Nvidia, we have Amazon. It's probably doing great, but I'm not going to look at it because it's just, that's the mortgage stock. I really don't trade it. AC, S for Sprint. S is not a penny stock. No, I agree. S is not a penny stock. This is a big company. The problem with this one is it just doesn't move well. As we know, we saw yesterday, it doesn't move a lot, but it's not a penny stock. And then AC or ACAD. ACAD here is has a nice drop, 12.7. Should be hitting our scanners any minute now. It's probably going to go over 100,000 now. And then let's check what the flow is on ACAD. This is 104 million shares flow. Yeah, this will be popping up here momentarily. So it's worth taking a look. Nasty daily chart here, though, guys. Look at this choppiness on the daily. Not clean at all. But I got to say, this drop is exciting. It's interesting. You have some good levels of support and resistance. You have a moving average coming here as well. This is worth taking a look at. Here is also down quite a bit, 12.7. So it's just popping up into our gapper scanners here. Volume is starting to creep in. Let's look at the pre-market activity. It's just not great. So not the best pre-market activity, guys, but worth taking a look just because of this drop. Let's hope that this pre-market activity gets better, especially now that it's hitting the gapper scanners. Hopefully more people will start looking into this and hopefully trading it in the pre-market. ZION is down quite a bit here. Not much activity on this one, so we'll bypass that one. Not much volume. Interesting daily on the drop, but the daily chart alone between here and here, it's just been nasty. It looks a lot better over here. You got a nice flow to it, but then once it drops here, it just becomes really choppy in this area. JBUL at the moment has a nice daily. You can see here, nice wind up, kind of getting into a point here at 1918. But again, guys, no volume at the moment, so this could be a good one to watch later on if it hits our scanners. We looked at Roku earlier today, so Roku again not doing much right now, but it is interesting on the daily if it can break out of this 110. You can see a couple of days ago had a nice run up to the all-time high here around what is this, 113.44 is the all-time high on Roku now. So again, daily looks interesting, but not a lot of activity going on there. MU, our buddy, also just again, let me remove these levels. It's been on a tear so far, not doing much right now, and we have quite a bit on here. If out of these I cannot find some good ones to watch today, I will definitely throw on MU and AMD on our list. ACAD, we have UTX. UTX, again, this is one that is very difficult to trade. I've watched this one before. Right now it's trying to get some activity, some volume, slightly over 70,000 shares traded right now, but look at the pre-market action, guys, just not looking really good. So I'm just gonna skip on this one. And again, this was not one that's easy to trade neither, so be very careful. INTC was great yesterday. I saw Kurt take a nice trade on that. Had a nice beautiful pop here. You can see also kind of a wedge forming as well right at the 50 point, and then just takes off from there. Today's popping up quite a bit, 1.2 after a great day yesterday. Volume is just starting to creep in. Not the best pre-market action at the moment, so this is one that we'll have to wait for it to hit our scanners, but I do like the daily chart quite a bit, so I'm going to mark that here, INTC, for us to take a look at later. All right, Hasbrook, HAS. Hasbrook has earnings, but again, just not much going on right now, guys, on Hasbrook. So I'm just going to go a little quicker as we're running a bit behind on time. BIBB. This is one that popped up into our scanners earlier. It's back on it. This is one that doesn't trade very well, guys. Look at the daily chart. It's very choppy. Also very high price as well. It's one that we looked at before in the past and hasn't traded very well. Right now, pre-market actually is not showing a lot of good pre-market activity, so I am going to bypass this one. All right, I'm going to check a few more before we get into some announcements. EDU, not much volume happening here, guys. Only 50,000 shares traded. I see what you're looking at. This has a nice little pop here at 6.8. Again, a lot of stocks are gapping up or down, but again, just some of the volume is not there yet. So wait for this to hit the scanners in one way or the other with some volume. It is a nicey stock, so you can't expect it to have a bad pre-market action, and it can get better. But I'm gonna take my chance with some of the ones that already have some volume and some good pre-market activity. Not saying that we cannot hit this in our look for this in our scanners. If it does, we can tune in and see what's going on there. All right, let me see what else we have. We'll do one more, and then we'll switch over to announcements. HOG. HOG also, again, just we have a lot of interesting daily chart, guys, whereas things are getting to an area of support or resistance. This is one here also hitting an area of possible resistance. This is a nicey stock, so not much activity right now, but I do like what you're looking at. This daily here looks great, has a nice little drop here heading down towards this area. But again, guys, with just too many, we can't watch all of these. We're gonna have to pick out the ones that have the best possible trifecta, right? That's volume, pre-market activity, and good daily chart. And hopefully out of these we can get some of that. All right, guys, let's go into announcements, and then we'll get into finding some support and resistance.
Yeah, I'm going to fly through these guys because we're running just a little bit behind, and we've got a good amount of announcements. As we discussed yesterday, we've got a full schedule of classes this week. Class 1 and 2 were last night. Class 3 is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Class 4 tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, in the classroom, back-to-back with my man Carlos over there. So if you want to take the classes live, it's always great. They are recorded, or they're recorded versions of the exact same classes in the Education Center. But you can always go in there and ask questions. There's always other mods on duty in there to help answer as well. Tomorrow, Workshop Wednesday, the Beginning Traders Learning Curve, dealing with challenges, frustrations, and common problems. And Carlos and myself are going to be doing that noon Eastern in the classroom. We would love to have this be a very interactive workshop Wednesday. I know some people, especially on the topic of frustrations, challenges, common problems, might not want to announce their problems to the world. So if you would like to discuss something or have something discussed on that topic and don't want to ask straight up in the room tomorrow, you are more than welcome to email Carlos and myself. And we will keep your submission anonymous. The emails are carlos@bearbulltraders.com and norm@bearbulltraders.com. And we will keep your name and everything anonymous, and we can just discuss any problems and actually get to the meat of the issue. So, yeah, you can ask for a friend. So anyway, we really want to have an interactive session tomorrow. We're not preparing a lot of slides or anything. It's not really a lecture or anything like that. We kind of want it to be a roundtable, interactive discussion. Then Wednesday trade reviews with Wednesday evening primetime trade review with William will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And he will also be doing, trade reviews, I believe, this afternoon in the chat, last hour of the day. Lifetime webinar, next one, July 25th, is Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then class followed by class 5. That'll be in the classroom at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got our interview with Brett Steenbarger coming up. So please submit your questions to the forum. The link is in the alert section. Then we've got meetups July 27th in Pasadena and August 2nd in Phoenix. So we've got both of those with links for Facebook and our forum. You can RSVP there and give me other info. We're going to have a YouTube Ask Me Anything August 1st, 8 p.m. Interview / Ask Me Anything with William and Jeremy Newsom from Real Life Trading. And then also two last points of interest. If you're in the chat room, we really appreciate it. Anything non-directly trading related, if you have any platform technical, meaning like technology, broker questions, anything like that, please post them in off topic. We will look there. We will answer them. Keep everything in the main chat directly trading related so that we cut down on a little bit of the noise, and it's just trade ideas, setup, so on. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you have not traded, or if you've not watched us in the room, trade live all day with Andrew right after this show goes off the air on YouTube, comes into the room, trades live, then Brian, myself, Peter, and William's trade reviews, for instance, today. Then you can use the promo code PREMARKET24, that's pre-market number 24, with no spaces, and get a discounted rate to try out the room for a week. It does not auto-renew or anything like that. And I'm sorry, one last thing came to mind. Brian was unable to do his swing review or swing trading discussion yesterday afternoon, so he has postponed that to Wednesday afternoon. It will be at 2:30 Eastern in the chat room. Anyway, thank you guys.
Excellent, guys. All right, so let's get into some support and resistance, guys. So let's start over here with KO. Let's see what KO is up to. So KO at the moment, high of the pre-market sitting at 53.30, so we'll mark that down. Again, this stock might be one that I drop. We'll see how it develops throughout the morning. It looks very strong as it's moving up right now. Another level towards the bottom, you have 52.47, which is the top of this entire consolidation period here, where it kind of keeps banging its head against this 52 and 52.47. So I'll mark that down in case we get a drop. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of levels between 51 and 52, previous day highs, previous day close, all in that area. Now let's go back and see where we have some levels towards the top here on Coca-Cola. Or are we at all-time high? I did not check that. I don't think we should be, but maybe we are. Yes, I think we are at all-time high. So are we? All right, I'm going way too far back. You know what? Yes, we are at all-time highs. How nice is this? We can go back all the way to 1996 with no issue here. Yeah, that's pretty clean. All right, guys, so let's all-time high, guys. This makes it even more interesting at the moment because, again, we know there's going to be a lot of people watching this here, and it looks very strong. It looks like it wants to crack this 53.30, so this becomes even a lot more interesting now that it's sitting at this all-time high area. So this here was, it kept bouncing down because this is the all-time high right in here, so that's why it has so much difficulty getting above this 52.47. Makes perfect sense. So this one is interesting. It's got a nice little trend going now. It's got some good volume. So we'll see what we can get out of this before the open to possibly trade. KPTI, still a horrible pre-market action. Has a great daily chart here popping up nicely, but again, just not looking too great on the pre-market action, even with 185,000 shares traded. So I am going to remove this one. Actually, better yet, we'll do some levels and then we'll remove it just in case at the open, it surprises us. We can tune into it. We'll be ready to go for it. So 920 high of the pre-market. We have a nice pop here all the way to 1060. In this area here, I don't see any more levels between our price action now and this 1060. But going back to this last consolidation period where the price action is not at now, you do have this drop over here at around 899. That's one, and above that you have this one here at 986. We can mark that down as well. So those good possible areas towards the bottom, you have plenty. Look at how that 899 is very close to the low of the pre-market, so we'll keep that on there. And then below that you have plenty of highs and lows because it's been consolidating around this previous day close line over the last couple of days. So not going to keep it. Doesn't look great right now, so we'll remove it. BYND is again very active, 347,000 shares traded. This is your high of all time right up here, 204.87. Towards the bottom you got the high from yesterday, and you also have the previous day close, which is very near the low of the pre-market. That's really all the levels you have on here. Below the low of the pre-market you can mark down 186.42. So we can keep that on there. So again, guys, be careful with this one. This one moves a lot. ATR is $7, but we've seen this ATR go as high as 21. So again, today could be one of those days where it's moving quite a bit. Again, the low of the pre-market is at 195 and the high is at 204. So it kind of tells you how much this stock can move. And we've seen this stock trade again very whippy, so be very careful. Also check the spread if you're going to trade this, right? The spread could sometimes be very, very wide. Snap right now is pretty active with some volume, but again, my issue with Snap is it doesn't move much unless today is going to prove us wrong. We have a level here at 1493, and above that we have another day up here. Actually, this is a better one at 1552. Again, I don't think you'll move that much because Snap doesn't move a lot, so I'm going to put a level in between here just because I know the way this stock trades, the characteristics of it. 1513. Right now price is sitting right at a of a high of 2 days ago, right in here. The previous day high is also the previous day low right on this, so I don't need to add anymore. And then you have plenty of levels down here, previous day close and previous day highs and lows. So that's what we have on Snap, guys. Again, it just doesn't trade well. Look at this pre-market activity, not looking too wonderful here. So again, we'll see what comes out of that. ACAD at the moment also again has a great daily chart, so I am going to put some levels on here because it has a nice big drop, down 11% with some okay volume, not great. Pre-market action is not looking all that, so this is the reason why I might be cautious on this one. So we have a level at 22.48. We have another one at 21.72, and then right up here above the price action now we do have one at 23.18, lightly above this moving average that's coming in now. I believe that's the 200, and then up here you have another level which is very clean at a 23.98. So we see what we can get out of this. Right now pre-market action is not looking great, but I do like this big drop on today's daily chart. Hopefully that can create some kind of activity and movement for us. Out of this list here, Norm's top 4, Nvidia looks promising on the daily, so I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to remove it from here. I'll remove Apple, Roku, and Facebook for now. INTC is not doing much at the moment, so this is a good possible for later on today. But again, right now pre-market activity is looking pretty light and pretty flat. And then I also have SH. Let's go in here, SHMA. So this one here is, again, it's got a lot of activity. It's got 2 million shares traded so far. It is not a low flow stock, but it is a lower price, so you want to be very careful. I think the flow is about 24 million shares. So high of the pre-market sitting at 825. As you can see here, 825 has been an area of resistance over the last couple of weeks. Towards the top, see what we have above this. I think, are we at all-time high with this one as well? No, we're not. So we do have some areas right in here, possibly trying to close the gap. So here's your high of the pre-market at 825. You can see how that 825 is becoming an area of resistance now that it was support in the past. Above this, you clearly have right here at 911, you have several days a clear bounce on these areas. You can see the hesitation around 911, so that's a possible level towards the top. Towards the bottoms, right on here, clearly you can see 723 is an area of possible support. 722, you can see several days bouncing off of that. This one's almost an area here, and below that you have another level right here around 686, and then below this you got the previous day close and then you got plenty of highs and lows in this area here. So we'll see what comes out of this. Right now it's getting pretty choppy. Started off very well with a nice flow to it, but now it's just kind of getting pretty flat. So we'll see what the market open gives us in this one here. So here's our watch list, guys. There are a lot of stocks today that again, don't have a good daily, but not a great pre-market action, right? So we have a little bit of time before Andrew and Brian come on. Just want to show you some of these, right? KPTI, just to recap, this one doesn't have a great pre-market action, does have some volume, but a nice daily. So look out for this in your scanners. We also have, what's another one we looked at here that looked like a possible, I believe it was MU. Actually, we forgot to look at MU and AMD. So let's look at these as well. So MU here also has a good daily, not much going on right now, but look for this one in your scanners. Looks like it might be trying to pull back a bit here. And we also have AMD. AMD looks great in the daily, again, but not a lot of activity going on in the pre-market. So these are some possibles, and there's a lot more that we saw that had this type of chart where, again, the daily chart looks great, but the pre-market action does not look great. Look out for those in your turbo breakdown and turbo breakup scanners this morning. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. Have a great day and trade safe, guys.
Yeah, guys, and also I wanted to mention one other thing to YouTube. It looks like William's going to be doing his trade review live stream on YouTube as well. So 3 p.m. Eastern time, you should get a link. I don't know if it's created yet, but keep an eye on the page. So be sure to subscribe. Also hit the notification bell whenever we put out new content or links to pre-market shows, etc. You'll have access to that, and you'll know when they're coming out. So 3 p.m. this afternoon, William's trade review in the room will be live streamed to YouTube if you want to take a look at what some of our members traded today. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Trade safe.